Welcome back. The Trump administration boosting American coal production to bring back U.S. energy dominance. The Department of Energy delaying retirement of most coal-powered plants to help deliver the massive amount of energy required to power data centers and AI and nuclear power, surging household electricity demands also. Joining me now is Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Secretary, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I know you've got some breaking news for us this morning. Tell us.
Yes, Maria, we're announcing today expanded programs to help the American coal industry. And we're helping it just because for years it's been under assault. It was out of fashion with the Chardonnay set in San Francisco, Boulder, Colorado, and New York City, where I just was at Climate Week. But it's critical to America's industrial might, not just for electricity, as you mentioned. It's our third largest source of electricity after natural gas and nuclear. But we also use it. It's the backbone of steel production. It's critical for cement production. Coal just makes the world go round, and they've tried to strangle it, particularly the Biden administration, starting with the Obama administration. But we need the coal industry. We're stopping the strangulation. We're going to provide some funding to upgrade existing coal plants, keep them open, even add some pollution control so they run cleaner and better. But coal's got a long future. As long as the lives of anyone alive today, let's stop pretending it's going away, or stop wishing it was going away. It's critical to our country.
So the Department of Energy announcing a $625 million investment to expand and reinvigorate the industry and try to boost energy production and support communities that have these coal plants. How do you break it down in terms of coal versus oil and gas versus other energy forms, nuclear, in terms of the breakout in what's most relevant, what's most needed in this boom in AI and data centers?
So, of course, we're going to let the private marketplace, investors and capital deployers decide exactly what they're going to build. We're just going to assist some of those efforts and stop with the heavy hands on the scale that we're only going to permit wind and solar, as the Biden administration did. We saw where that led, more expensive electricity. President Trump got elected to bring back common sense. And look, coal is a huge part of our electricity grid today. We're going to stop closing all the coal plants that this Biden administration and so many Democratic governors across our country has decided they should just shut those things down. That's just such a losing strategy that drives up electricity prices, prevents us from leading in AI. So we're going to keep these coal plants open that have a long way to go. We're going to remove some of these burdensome regulations or even outright bans from exporting coal out of our country. Coal is by far and away the world's largest source of electricity and will be for decades to come. In fact, to put it in context, Maria, wind, solar, and batteries, 2.6% of total global energy. Coal's 28%, more than 10 times bigger than wind, solar, and batteries put together. That's just a backbone of our planet. And we have awesome coal reserves in the United States. We're going to export more of that coal. We're going to use it for American industry, particularly as we reindustrialize. And it's going to continue to provide 16% of our electricity and enable us to reindustrialize and win the AI race.
Yeah, and you've been talking about coal for months and trying to support the industry for months. Let me get your take on this easing of regulation and the permitting. Are you codifying this permitting so that it is in the law beyond your term, beyond President Trump's term? I mean, these are long-term projects. I bring this up a lot because the likes of these large oil companies that are putting huge amounts of money in the ground for years and years, looking ahead to huge projects, they need to know that those laws are going to be there, that things will run fast and the permitting gets done. I know the Big Beautiful Bill had some of that. Is that where the codifying of this permitting is?
Oh, I think there'll be more coming. There's growing bipartisan consensus around permitting reform. I think the Democrats realize you can't have a great American future if you can't build anything in America. So I think you will see bipartisan legislation on permitting reform. I'm excited about that. But you'll see a lot of changes in EPA rules, that were codified that just didn't make sense, that are being challenged by this administration. I think you'll see some rule changes. You'll see legal challenges on those rule changes. And I think you'll see us prevail in those legal challenges. So, yes, our plan is to leave behind permanently better structure.
And of course, you mentioned the demand, which is only getting higher and higher. BP's latest energy outlook is predicting that global oil demand will grow until at least 2030. That's 5 years later than last year's forecast. The company predicting natural gas demand also will grow 20% by the year 2040. Secretary, your outlook on oil and natural gas right now in terms of demand as a result of this AI boom, are you expecting to this just get incrementally higher and higher in terms of the demand around AI?
Yes, yeah, of course, AI is going to drive tremendous growth in American electricity demand, but electricity is just one sector of the energy economy. Everything from transportation, from plastics, from manufacturing, everything we do requires hydrocarbons. BP predicted peak oil demand when COVID hit. We've seen the peak. It's going to be a plateau and a decline from here. Of course, demand for oil has grown 5 million barrels a day since that projection. So we don't see any end in sight to the growth in demand for oil. We got 1 billion people living highly energized lives and 7 billion people wanting to live highly energized lives. I don't see where people come from that predict these relatively soon peaks in demand for some form of energy. It's just not in the data.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And particularly now, when we are looking at this pivot in terms of AI and this need for data centers. President Trump put countries with these green agendas on notice while he was at the United Nations General Assembly last week. Here's a bit of that. Watch.
This climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune.
Secretary, you say it's even worse than that, that net zero race is actually benefiting China, our number one adversary.
Yeah, the main impacts of net zero in the countries that have pursued it, which is the wealthy world, right? What has the results been? Higher energy prices. As the president mentioned there, deindustrialization. Europe has just exported its industry to China, into Asia. U.S. did that for a while, too. And reduced access to energy for people that want to better their lives. Like, nothing good has come out of net zero 2050, but yet it's been unfashionable to call it out. God bless the president for calling a spade and calling it a con job. $5 trillion to get 2.5% of energy from wind, solar, and batteries. What else would you call that?
That's incredible. I mean, look, you all have been so focused on this, and it is the important moment in time, certainly with technology. Secretary, it's great to talk with you. The president certainly has assembled an incredible team around his goal of tapping into our energy capacity. Thank you, Secretary.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, good to see you, Christopher Wright. We'll be right back. Stay with us.